Good evening, baseball fans. It is Monday, February 19th. And if you just got done listening to our fun bonus episode that you guys didn't even have to pay extra for, you're welcome, by the way.
Wait, I'm not making more money off of that one?
No, just in my love and admiration and respect.
I get even more.
Which is not worth much, I know, and I'm so sorry about that, Kels.
All I'm here for.
Yeah. So
we got a deal.
But this is the second episode of the night that we are recording because guess what, guys? We love you, and Kelsey and I just grind. That's what we're do. We're grinders. That's how we do. Yes. So before we get into it, though, I'm Susie. That is Kelsey. This is Bourbon and Baseball. And this is going to be a rated R podcast. Again, not for the adult content that you might think, just for all of the 4-letter words. Now, if you guys would like to pay us for, talking about baseball, by all means, we'll take that. We will take all of that. However, not the normal, quote unquote, adult content that, I guess other people pay for. I don't know. So anyhow, if there's tiny ears listening or if 4-letter words are not your jam, then this is not the podcast for you. So apologize. Sorry, not sorry. And away we go. So, Kels, before we need to start, though, I have a very important question for you.
What's that?
What do they put in Girl Scout cookies that makes them so fucking delicious?
That is a really good question. I myself have abstained from Girl Scout cookies. They were in my office when I had to go to the office last week. They are being sold, outside of a lot of the stores in the area. And I have turned a blind eye. I have resisted temptation because it is true what you say. And that is that there's clearly crack in Girl Scout cookies.
I'm so glad that you're on the same page because I was going to ask if there was just a tiny bump of Coke or something in these Girl Scout cookies, because this is my second batch of Girl Scout cookies.
What kind?
They, how they all have the different names, like in places. These ones are the peanut butter patties. These are the chocolate covered peanut butter cookies. So if you are audio only, go to the YouTubes because you will see my second batch of cookies that are almost done. There's 2 left. I bought these 2 days ago. So again, if I look a little bit more rotund than normal, it's the Girl Scouts, and I'm solely blaming the Girl Scouts. Yeah, not the fact that I'm a lazy slug and can do anything about it. No. Exercise, cardio, that don't sign me up. I don't want to do any of that. Okay. I'm gonna just blame all the Girl Scouts. So
is that your favorite Girl Scout cookie? That one?
Absolutely. Yeah. All of the other ones are trash.
Oh, really? Oh, see, trash. Well, that's why I just have to stay away because I won't turn one of them down.
Really?
I think Caramel Delights. I mean, I think there's Samoa's someplace. I love those. I love the Thin Mints, especially if they're in the freezer. I even like a good lemon pastry cream. I don't think they're called that anymore.
I believe those. Yeah.
I was a Girl Scout back in the day. Yeah, no, I love a peanut butter patty. Yeah. I have to say no to all of them because
these are the only ones that I will eat, though. Like, I won't, I could be nice and buy other kinds of cookies for anybody else in my house, namely my husband. But I don't. I just get these, and then I hoard them like Gollum, and I'm like, precious, and then don't let anybody else eat them. So
your husband's gonna listen to this and be like, "Wait, there was Girl Scout cookies in the house?"
No. Yeah, no. He saw them. And he's like, I just know. I know after, 43 years of marriage, I just know that I shouldn't even try. I shouldn't even try to eat a Girl Scout cookie because I know that I need and love my hand and you will rip it off. Well, I'm glad that you finally have come to that realization. Thank you.
Sounds like true love to me.
Indeed. So, that's all I need to know is if crack was one of the main ingredients in Girl Scout cookies, and if you knew that as well. So, okay, good. Glad we're on the same page. That's why
absolutely
why we are hosts. I picked a good co-host. I did. So, with that, though, we will move on to our 40-man find. That we're getting into the actual decent good teams, guys. We're moving on up. Insert the song here because I can't actually play it for copyright reasons.
Moving on up.
There you go. You can't. Nope. That's all we can do. Just and that's it. I don't.
Moving on up.
No. I don't want this taken down. Kelsey, golly. Anyhow, even though that was a beautiful just tone, pure.
My best work.
So with the 40-man find, basically this was a segment that Kelsey and I came up with for the off season, where we learn about the other players on the other leagues' teams. Hence the 40-man find. You're welcome for not calling it Diamond Daddies like I originally thought of, and I was like, that gives off the wrong vibe. It's not the right vibe. Nope.
Another segment for another podcast.
Yeah. That's the paid content over there. So, however,
on the Patreon.
Yes. As I break all of the things over here, I just start talking about Diamond Daddies and I get excited. Apparently, woohoo! Anyhow, so like I said, Kelsey has the AL and I have the NL. Like I said, so that we learn about the other leagues' teams, because our favorite teams are in the opposite league. So with that said, I have my second favorite team. I have officially crowned them my second favorite team.
Right.
In my first favorite team in the NL, but my second favorite team overall, the 84 win Diamondbacks. Yep, that's what you're gonna learn today about one of the players, and then after that, Kelsey will tell you about a player from the Blue Jays. So yay, Canada! So moving back from Canada, back over to my side over here in the NL and the Diamondbacks. I had a hard time choosing. I had such a hard time choosing. I was like, which one? So finally, I had to Russian roulette it, and I literally had to do one of those, put all of these choices in a wheel and spin it digitally. I'm like, this is so stupid, but there's just too many. And unfortunately, I could not choose Corbin Carroll. That would have gone along with my theme of all Asian players apparently and pandering to the crowd, but I could not.
I've got you covered on that side today.
Yes. Love it. Okay. So, I have a guy that is one of the young rookie core of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and that is AlekThomas. And when I say young, I mean young, because he is a 23-year-old outfielder that was born in the 2000 year. The 2000 year. And that makes me feel so old. Anyhow, but he is, I'm going to get my notes here because, I can't do this all from memory because I'm old now.
You didn't memorize
I didn't.
On AlekThomas.
Unfortunately, I did not. However, like I said, AlekThomas is a 23-year-old outfielder born on April 28th in the year 2000. I feel extra old now because a little child told me, ew, you were born in the thousands, and I nearly fell over and died. Right then and there. So yeah, that's where we are now, people. Anyhow, he attended Mount Carmel High in Chicago, and I don't know if that's close to you or anything.
I think it is Mount Carmel. It is not far.
Okay. And he committed to play both college baseball and college football for Texas Christian University.
Nice.
Yeah. So
is that TCU? That's the Froghorns. Is that what they're called? Yeah.
Horn frogs.
The
frogs.
Froghorns they do this, right? This is like their thing.
They do. Yes. So for our audio only people, go to the YouTubes so that you can see Kelsey doing the froghorn. Froghorn.
Matt Carpenter is also a TCU alum. So
okay. I did not know that.
Out.
Yeah. So froghorns. Golly, I love that. That's now what I'm gonna That's not what I'm going to call it. And when people look at me funny, I'm going to be like, I don't understand why you're looking at it like that. And then it's going to hit me. Oh, that's not it. Anyhow, while in high school, AlekThomas hit 423 with 40 home runs and 158 RBI. And I was interested to see what football position he was going to play in college. And I don't know why I was wondering that, because it's not like I'm going to know what that position does.
Right. Well,
However,
he's like a big guy.
Yeah. Well, so for
the
the football people out there that, will know, he was going to play a wide receiver. So apparently fast and, like runs down the field, gets the ball. Yeah, runs fast and avoids tackles. I don't know, because he is little.
Yeah.
So he had a scholarship for baseball and was going to walk on for football. And apparently this was not the only school that AlekThomas was going to do this with, because Notre Dame was also in the mix. Well, look at you. Yeah. I was like, okay, AlekThomas, I wasn't aware that you were this. Apparently he was a 3-sport athlete, just wasn't going to get a scholarship or wasn't going to play college basketball in college. Yeah. So it's like, just a 2-sport athlete in college? Darn. Anyhow, so fun fact also, he has been dating his girlfriend, Kaylee McCaffrey, since they were 15.
Wow.
Since they were 15 years old. Yeah. Hard launch on the Insta. So all beautiful looking blonde. And I say this with literally all the love in my heart. She looks like a baseball player's girlfriend. Like,
sure.
Beautiful blonde, like just, again, I say this with all the love in my heart and only just a tiny bit of jealousy, because I'm neither little or small or, blonde. So, but beautiful, and congrats to you guys for, being together for 43 years. It's not 43 years, obviously.
You're not even half.
Yeah. Not if you're not new around here, this is not a math pod. Susie doesn't do the math, so you figure it out. But yeah, they've been together since they were 15 years old, and that just boggles my mind. So, so he was, like I said, signed to TCU, but really never planned on going to TCU. He was just kind of using that as a carrot, essentially.
Okay.
And saying, well, depends on where I get drafted. And so apparently in 2018, when the Diamondbacks took him in the second round, the 63rd overall pick, he said, you know what? That's high enough. Let's go. And really was never going to go to TCU. And I was like, oh, all right. Even though, you committed to TCU, put it on your Insta, whatever. That's that. So in 2018, he spent time between the Missoula Osprey and the Arizona Complex League, where he hit in 56 games, 333 with 2 home runs, 27 RBIs, and 12 stolen bases. And in 2019, he started with the Kane County Cougars, which I know sounds like a drinking club for old women, but it is not. It is an actual baseball club. So in July, he was chosen for the All-Star Futures game. And then in August, he got moved on up to the Visalia Rawhides, which obviously is not a dog toy. It's also a baseball team. So in 114 games between those two teams, he hit 300, 375, and 450 with 10 home runs, 55 RBI, and 15 stolen bases. So very fast, very, very fast, but tiny, Also, a little bit of power. So 2021, he started with the Amarillo Sod Poodles. I love these names, guys. And in June, again, was chosen for the All-Star Futures game. And in August, moved on up to the Reno Aces. Bet you can't guess how they came up with that name. In 106 games between those two clubs, he slashed 313, 394, 559 slug. So had a little bit of pop there, but it is Reno. So the ball is going to fly just a little bit more. But he hit 18 home runs, 59 RBI, and 29 doubles. And in 2022, he started with the Aces and was promoted to the D-backs on May 8th of 2022. And I bet you can't guess who he hit his first home run off of, Kels.
No, Justin Verlander?
No. No.
Lance Lynn?
No. That would have been funny, though. He hit his first home run on May 11th off Sandy Alcantara.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
nice.
so little feather in his cap, because that's a nice name to hit your first home run off of. His rookie year, unfortunately, he kind of struggled. In 113 games, he hit 231, 275, and 344 slug. So that slug went way down, and he only finished the season with an OPS plus of 75, which, if you aren't super familiar, an OPS plus of like 100, that's an average baseball player. That's typically, where you kind of want to be. Unfortunately, he was at 75, so he's 25% less good than the average baseball player. So in 2023, however, he started with the club. His defense was good enough, and unfortunately, his offense, however, was not so good. So he went back down, came back up again, and stayed up due to his defense. Came back June 19th. So between June 19th and August 30th, in 48 games, he slashed 269, 309, and 439 with 35 hits. And he got really shielded from left-handed pitching. So I forgot to mention that as well, because he is a lefty. So mashes right-handed pitching. But unfortunately was striking out at an alarming rate at 21.4%. So good. You want like 20% or lower. But due to his speed and his improved swing, he was able to stay up, and he got his WRC plus all the way up to 101, which again, average. So in September, unfortunately, he struggled offensively, but his defense was so good that he was 5 outs above average, and he had 5 defensive runs saved. And then they threw this stat at me, and I was like, I don't know what that stat means. So now you guys also get a lesson. If you already know what this is, then cover your ears. But he had a 3.1 UZR. Do you know what that is?
No.
Yeah, I did not know either. And then I researched it and was like, oh, I have heard of this. So a UZR is the ultimate zone rating, and that quantifies a player's entire defensive performance by attempting to measure how many runs a defender saved.
Oh, okay.
So he essentially saved 3.1 runs. So it takes into account runs. Let me see. Runs, errors, range, outfield arm, and double play ability.
Okay.
It differs slightly from defensive runs saved in its formula, but the concept is the same. So, all of those analytical numbers that the nerds like. So, because of all this, guess what, guys? He won the 2023 Gold Glove Award for center field for the NL. And if you will recall, the Arizona Diamondbacks went to the World Series. Fortunately, lost. That makes me very sad. However, in the wild card and divisional series, his power was big. Had big power, and over those 5 games, he hit 2 home runs and had 4 hits. And in the NLCS, had the second highest OPS on the team. And he scored 4 runs and hit 2 more home runs, including that memorable Game 4 home run that just put the Phillies into their grave. So, like I said earlier, he demolishes right-handed pitching. Slash 253, 297, and 404. 16 doubles, 4 triples. Like, you're a fast son of a bitch if you can get triples, man. Yeah. 7 home runs and 30 RBI. And I say that with all the love in my heart, AlekThomas. Like, okay, that's a loving son of a bitch, okay? But like I said, versus left-handed pitching, not so good. 143, 175, and 260 over 81 plate appearances. So again, he got shielded. He got shielded from left-handed pitching, and some other like weird kind of stat notes that I found. Home versus road splits. He loves hitting at Chase Field. Absolutely mashes in Chase Field. So his home splits 257, 302, 446 with 18 extra base hits versus road where he hit only 206, 246, and 312.
Oh, wow.
So Yeah, does not like hitting not at home. And then apparently he just needs to hit in high leverage situations at home, because when he does that, he hits 277 with a 431 slug, 18 hits and 71 plate appearances with 5 extra base hits and 17 RBI. So he's got that
Yeah.
X clutch factor apparently.
And he's never getting cheap hits in those situations either.
Yeah. So that is AlekThomas. Oh, another fun fact. Dad was and it still is the longtime strength and conditioning coach for the White Sox. So grew up in a clubhouse, big league clubhouse. So was running around with all of those guys. And I remember actually watching his first hit, like his first home run. No,
Yeah.
maybe it wasn't his first home run, but they were playing the White Sox, and he hit a home run, and you saw him try and get his dad's attention, like in the other dugout, and his dad was like this, trying not to smile. And so for our audio only people, I basically put my hands over my mouth. Just go to YouTube.
Oh, that's
And
so fun.
like you could just tell dad was like so proud and wanted to, wanted to give his boy some love, but he couldn't, because he just hit a home run against his employer. And so it was super cute. And but you see Alec kind of like jumping up and down and like waving his arms and stuff, and it's adorable. I'm gonna try and find the clip, and if I do, I will put it in the show notes. But it is super cute.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I had no idea
that
he was
is
from Chicago.
Yeah, that is AlekThomas.
Neighbors with his parents.
Yeah, probably. You should look into that, Kels. Yeah,
I will. Maybe I can work with his dad, do a little strength and conditioning with that White Sox team.
There you go.
Him in line.
Yeah.
Well, I did pick an Asian player to highlight today, so I'm picking up the slack here.
Much appreciated.
But really, because the Blue Jays roster is really interesting to me because there's a lot of really well-known players, a lot of stars, and their at least average age is a little bit older than some teams currently. And one of the players that I'm going to tell you about today is not a super young guy. He's been around for a while now, but I am interested to see what will come from him this season, because I do think maybe we have yet to see the best of him in the major leagues. And that is starting pitcher Yusei Kikuchi. He was born on June 17th, 1991 in Morioka, Japan. I'm probably going to mispronounce a lot of things when talking about Japan, so forgive me, but I'll do my best and learn as I go. But as a high school pitcher in 2009 in Japan, his fastball was clocked at 96 miles per hour. So that year, he sparked controversy when it was announced that he was considering bypassing the amateur draft in Japan for the MPB and was instead going to sign with a Major League Baseball club. I didn't know this was even a thing. I did not know this could happen. So that was also part of why I wanted to highlight him today, was to kind of talk about this. But I guess under Major League Baseball's current rules, Kikuchi would not have been subject to the Major League Baseball draft and instead be declared a free agent, free to sign with any American team he wanted. According to CBSSports.com, many Major League Baseball teams were very interested in signing him at this point, including the Rangers and the Red Sox. And all 12 of the MPB teams were super interested in signing him as well. So according to Japanese news outlets, the NPB asked that Kikuchi not receive any offers from Major League Baseball clubs before Japan's draft, just in order to kind of even the playing field, even the chances for a Japanese team to sign him, because they cannot make offers before their draft. According to MLB.com, Kikuchi would have been the first ever Japanese high school player to bypass the domestic amateur draft to become an MLB or to sign with Major League Baseball. By staying to play in the MPB, players lock themselves into 9 seasons before they're eligible for free agency. This is the part that I had heard. They can leave only if their Japanese team allows them to enter the posting system, in which Major League Baseball teams can bid for the right to negotiate with them.
Yeah, and that's why they didn't want anybody to bypass that, because of all the money that they would eventually get from the MLB teams.
Right. And here's like kind of the risk that Japanese players are taking. If they leave for an American team and they sign with an American team, players are banned from the Japanese leagues for 3 years. So a lot of American players even go and play in the Japanese leagues to further their career, kind of figure stuff out, still get paid well, and even sometimes get paid better than they would if they were in the minor league system over here, right? So
Yep.
that taking a certain level of risk if you sign with major leagues and don't leave that opportunity open for yourself. It was reported that Kikuchi did meet with multiple teams in October of 2009, but he did decide to stay in Japan and enter the draft instead of playing in the United States. I would be so interested to learn more about what factors led him to make that decision. But on November 20th, 2009, Kikuchi signed a pro deal with the Saitama Seibu Lions. Again, sure, I'm saying that wrong, but the Lions. The deal included a 100 million yen, which is about $1 million signing bonus, and a 15 million yen, which is about $150,000 first year salary, and a 50 million yen or 500K in performance bonuses. After the 2011 season, Seibu announced that Kikuchi would join the Melbourne Aces of the Australian Baseball League. And this is another thing that I'm still definitely learning about, but how all the leagues, like how Major League Baseball can actually trade players to the Korean leagues and all that kind of stuff. So apparently this is very much a thing. He plays between the NPB and the ABL from 2010 to 2018 from ages 19 to 27. So he starts his pro career at age 19. And in 2018, he is selected to the 2018 NPB All-Star Game. He's actually a 3-time NPB All-Star in 2013, 2017, and 2018. And then in 2017, nearing the end of his time in the NPB, he was the Pacific League leader in ERA with a 1.97 ERA. He also led the league in wins that year, which makes sense when you have a 1.97 ERA, that he had 16 wins that year. And he also won the Mitsui Golden Glove Award in 2017. So a good fielding
pitchers are athletes.
We love to see it. On December 3rd, 2018, the NPB announced that it was allowing Kikuchi to enter the posting system to play in Major League Baseball. So he has that 30-day period starting a month later to negotiate and sign with the team. On January 2nd of 2019, Kikuchi signed a 4-year contract with the Seattle Mariners. He makes his MLB debut on March 21st, 2019, going 4.2 innings while allowing 2 runs, just 1 earned run, and striking out 3. This was the year that they started the season. The Mariners started the season in Japan. So he was actually the first Japanese-born player to make his Major League debut in Japan. How cool is that? Kikuchi struggled in his first season with Seattle. He was 6-11. His ERA was 5.46 in 32 starts, but he struck out 116 in 161 2/3 innings. He figured some stuff out a little bit more in 2020. He still has a 5.17 ERA, but his strikeout percentage increases from 16% up to 24%. And he was selected for the American League All-Star roster in 2021. So he is yet to really, at this point, he's had some like highs and lows in Major League Baseball, but not going to spew off a ton of more statistics and numbers at you because he hasn't had those numbers or like moments where you're really going to be like, ooh, yeah, he's doing the thing. I'm so excited about him. But, that's not necessarily what the 40-man find is about.
Right.
So on March 14th, 2022, Kikuchi signs a 3-year, $36 million contract with the Toronto Blue Jays, where he is at still to this day. On September 30th, 2022, a day after clinching a postseason berth, he actually earned his first Major League Baseball save. So even though he's primarily a starter, he's got that first save in his back pocket. I'm going to talk a little bit more about just some press around him and how he actually really loves being in Toronto and how he has made it his home. But first, just a little bit more about his style of his pitching. He is 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. He's a left-handed pitcher, and he throws from a 3/4 arm angle. His fastball tops out around 99 miles per hour, and he mainly throws an above-average slider in addition to the fastball, mixes in a curve and a changeup here and there. This is where you may have heard Kikuchi's name in 2023, and this is the first that I really heard about him, other than maybe catching him in a game or two. In September of 2023, an interview and an article came out from Sports Illustrated writer Stephanie Epstein featuring Kikuchi's commitment to a good night's sleep. He left a game against the Yankees early that he started due to a cramp in his trap, which is like part of your shoulder neck area. And he said that it was due to a poor night's sleep. He told reporters that he had only slept 11 hours instead of 13 to 14, which is what he prefers. There was obviously tons of questions asked to him, posed to him about this over the coming days, but he did clarify that he only needs 14 hours before he starts. On other days, he's happy to settle for 8, 9, or 10 hours. Susie, what could you do? Do you think you could be a Major League Baseball pitcher if you got to sleep 14 hours a night? Like, what could you do?
I would be fucking Superwoman if I could sleep 14 hours a night. Are you kidding me?
The biggest, I guess, I don't even know why I'm asking you, because we will never know. We will never know what we could be capable of if we slept 14 hours a night. But man, I'm scared. I don't know. The world wouldn't be ready for it.
I don't even think my body would allow that. Are you kidding me? Like,
no. Yeah.
Even when I get 6 hours of sleep, 6 hours is typically my norm. 5 hours is typically my norm. Anything past 6 hours though, I wake up and I'm all, am I alive? Did I die?
See, I love sleep. I'm a big advocate for sleep. I sleep anywhere between minimum 7 hours, sometimes up to 9 hours. I like sleep. I also don't have children yet, so I'm going to keep doing that while I can. But I am really nerdy about the importance of it and all of that. So I won't get on that now. I'm sure if we played high level athletics, maybe we would be, we would need that recovery time.
I mean, Shohei needs 43 hours of sleep a night, and
Shohei
literally his pillow is one of his most prized possessions. And so, lots of regenerative things happening while you're sleeping.
Kikuchi did mention that he is particularly fond of a certain Amazon pillow. But other than that, it seems he doesn't really need anything fancy to get comfortable. He just can knock out pretty easily. He said it takes him about 5 minutes to fall asleep. And
wow,
I love that for him.
That's awesome.
But according to the Toronto Sun, I was reading an article about how he and his wife decided to take their fondness of Toronto a step further by making Toronto their home for the offseason as well as, in season. They actually enrolled their 4-year-old son, Leo, in school in Canada. The city, he is quoted saying, "The city means a lot, not just to me, but to my family," he said through translation. He said, "We all enjoy Toronto and the Toronto fans. Putting on the Blue Jays uniform, you get the feeling that you're representing a whole country, a full nation. I'm proud to be a Toronto Blue Jay and happy to be here." So I love that he loves that. I love that he's happy where he's at and feels like, he's in a place that that he can make his home and hopefully find some more success. Because in 2023 for the Blue Jays, Kikuchi went 11-6 in his 32 starts. He had a 3.86 ERA. Certainly one of his better seasons in the major league so far. He had 181 strikeouts and 167.2 innings pitched, and his WHIP was 1.27, so just a little lower than average. But every year it seems like he kind of figures out another piece. And, he's 32. He's going to be 33 in the middle of this season. But the Cardinals seem to think that is just peak age for pitchers. So it could be. It could be here.
Yeah.
The other reason that you may have heard about him outside of, I guess, on the field play is that he was also a big part of that rumor mill of Shohei Ohtani coming to the Toronto Blue Jays. Supposedly he was on that chartered flight. He was going to throw a sushi party, and somehow it was being reported that Kikuchi was the one who had the reservation for 50 people at this sushi place. And he's like, I had no idea. I just woke up to people messaging me and asking me about this. And he is quoted saying, "I wanted to make it clear that I did not have a sushi party last Friday." I guess he posted this on his Instagram account. And he said, "I can eat sushi for 50 plus people, but I certainly never had a sushi party with 50 plus people." So he obviously has a good sense of humor as well. And we love a guy who, values the importance of sleep and can eat sushi for 50 plus people. He seems like my kind of company. And I would love
for
to fly
sure.
to Toronto to have sushi with Yusei Kikuchi and his family any day. So that's why I wanted to talk about him today.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the whole I don't want to say rhetoric because that has a bad connotation story around Yusei Kikuchi, because like all of that, especially the sleep thing. I'm like, I love the sleep thing. That makes me so happy. Maybe it's an Asian thing. We got to find out. I'm like,
I mean, I definitely think it is just something that it has to be prioritized for elite performance. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they have, more extensive studies and just kind of like cold hard knowledge around the facts of the recovery. So
I'm like, Masataka Yoshida, are you also getting all of the sleeps? That was not a fact that I could find. So now I'm gonna have to go back and see. But yeah. Anyhow, so that wraps up our 40-man find for this week. And if I was a good host, I would tell you who we're gonna have for next week. But you know what? It's gonna be a surprise for the both of us, for all of us. Okay.
gotta show up.
Gotta tune in. Gotta be with it in the knowledge. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I'm just saying words at this point in time. So we're just gonna move right on along into our first big topic that we would like to hit, and that is a big congratulations to Jenny Kavnar, who becomes the first woman to be the primary play-by-play announcer for a team in MLB history. I say unfortunately it's for the Athletics. Like, it's literally the only good thing that you guys have done for the season, for a lot of the
For the
seasons.
organization, really. Yeah.
And congrats, Jenny. That is amazing. I know that you and Dallas are going to be awesome together. And I will admit that in seasons past, I have tuned in to A's games, not to really watch the play on the field, but to listen to Dallas Braden like call a game.
Yeah.
So now I have another reason to tune into A's games, and I'm very excited about that. So congrats, Jenny. I can't wait to see how you do. So now we will move on to another team that leads me to scratch my head at all times. The Red Sox sign LiamHendricks for 2 years for $10 million with incentives. That contract could go up to $20 million. And there's a 3rd-year mutual option. I don't know what the Boston Red Sox are doing.
No. This does not help
just
put any pieces together. Yeah, no, it's just another like piece of a different puzzle that is not the Red Sox puzzle that they were working on. I didn't think, but like it seems like they're working on like 12 different puzzles at the same time instead of just focusing on getting one done before they move on. I'm not really sure, but we love LiamHendricks. We're glad to see him get a contract because I quite honestly figured like he was just going to rehab on his own, and we would see him maybe sign a contract before the trade deadline or somewhere along those lines. But because he had Tommy John surgery last summer, so late in 2024, probably post All-Star break, is the soonest that we would see him back. He, of course, beat stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after being diagnosed in the fall of 2022. He returned to much fanfare, so much excitement and support from Major League Baseball with the White Sox on May 29th of 2023. But unfortunately, he pitched in only 5 games before he was diagnosed with that UCL tear and had to have TJ. But he's LiamHendricks. He has pitched 476 games over 13 seasons. He's been with the Twins, Royals, A's, and most recently the White Sox. He is a 3-time All-Star. He led the American League in saves in 2021 with 38, and he has 727 strikeouts in 650 innings. So, yeah, we don't know what the Red Sox are doing, but like, Susie, do you think LiamHendricks returns to form and has another couple seasons of high leverage stuff in him?
I hope so. Like I want him to win comeback player of the year. I think that would be amazing, especially, with the whole like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Like the fact that you beat that and are now in good enough shape to be a high-level athlete, like kudos to you, LiamHendricks. But I don't understand what the Red Sox are doing. I asked this on Twitter. I said, "But why?" And someone answered me and said, one of the easiest guys to root for, an absolute dog on the mound, plus his mid to late season return lines us up with potentially trading Kenley Jansen, who's a free agent at the end of the year at the deadline. It's a good price point for us with good incentives for him. This rules. And I was like, okay, all fair points. However, what happens if he struggles? Would Chris Martin fill in as your closer? Because that's really the only other guy that they kind of have.
Yeah.
And they replied, I'd have to imagine Martin could be that guy. We were already using him in the 8th in high leverage spots. Tanner Houck is another one that many think would be a lights out closer rather than a starter. So apparently they're just going full, like, rebuild, retooling. They're not going full throttle. It's definitely not a full throttle situation. And
Perhaps not that.
No. So I don't know. I guess Kenley I think Kenley Jansen's reading the writing on the wall though, and is like, all right, I guess I'm out of here but it's still gonna suck for guys like that in that situation. Like, that at some point you're gonna get traded. You're like, can you just do it now? Can I get it over with?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I kind of forgot that. Yeah, their storylines are definitely going to run side by side here, depending on what happens with Hendricks. And yeah, that it's just a shitty situation to be in for Kenley Jansen. And I'm sure at this point, yeah, he's like, I just rather would not be with the Red Sox either way.
Yeah. Let me just start just let me start with a new club. I don't know. So we will see what the Red Sox do, and apparently in 2025 we will all get to watch the Netflix documentary. I don't know. I still say that they're signing Trevor Bauer.
I mean, I don't want to talk about that, Susie. LiamHendricks is really entertaining, though. He's amazing, and he's just like a great human being. So I hope he gets some serious screen time, and that's what I want if I'm going to tune into that documentary.
So fun fact, when I was watching baseball in 2018 and 2019, and I really didn't know any of the players, in my head, I would get Lance Lynn, Craig Kimbrell, and LiamHendricks all confused in my head because they were just all like burly white guys with like facial hair. Know, it didn't matter that they played all for like different teams. No, didn't matter. Just big burly guys with facial hair. Yeah. And then I was like, oh wait, LiamHendricks, you're Australian and have a fun accent. Never mind, I know who you are now. Like, so his head is like face is seared into memory.
Well, he has made a point he's come out and been really forthcoming in interviews about how he wants to sign and play with organizations that are more progressive and that like support, social justice issues and stuff like that. So that's kind of another reason. I mean, the Red Sox are not known for that, but not currently.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll help kind of light the fire under that as, kind of a culture guy while he's rehabbing. Yeah. It's the best we can hope for, I think.
We shall see. So, Phillies are making moves. They sign super util WhitMerrifield for 1 year, $8 million. It includes a club option for 2025 at another $8 million, and the deal includes bonus and award incentives and maxes out at 2 years, $16 million. Merrifield slashed 291, 337, 434 with a 771 OPS with the Royals from 2016 to 2021. He played every game for the Royals in 2019, 2020, and 2021. It's a lot of games, all 152. That's impressive. The fact that you can stay healthy for that. Well, maybe not 2020, but 2019, 2021.
Right. I was like, 2020 doesn't really count as much, but still pretty cool.
But 2019, 2021, that's still impressive though. 3-time All-Star, including last season with the Blue Jays, mostly plays the corner outfield positions and second base, but can play first, third, and a little bit of center. So, and at 35, he will be the oldest player on the Phillies roster.
I read that and I was just cackling. The oldest player on the Phillies roster is 35. The average age of the St. Louis Cardinals is the rotation is 35. But Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I also didn't realize that he's 35. He still seems very young and spry, and he's still got some good games left in him. So good for him.
Got some pep in his step.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, WhitMerrifield was one of those ones that obviously is a very late signing, and I was like, is WhitMerrifield gonna go anywhere? I mean, he's a decent. I say decent. He's above average. Util guy that literally can play anywhere. I mean, besides catcher and pitcher,
Right.
But
yeah, I guess there was tons of rumors around him getting traded to the Phillies last year. So this is just the follow through on that. We can all stop the chatter. He's finally a Philly.
But I think I heard something that I think he said he had another couple of offers or something, but he wanted to go to a contender. He wanted to win. And so Phillies it is. So we shall see where he plays. Obviously he's going to be that util guy and giving the everyday guys days off. So we shall see. But going to the super util guy to a guy that is just one position, just the one, and you don't want him anywhere near the field.
Yeah, no, I love Jorge Soler. I think he's I'm a sucker for how much of a family man it seems like he is on his Instagram, all that stuff. But I also just think I think he brings value as a clubhouse guy, and apparently he's going to do that as a power hitting DH with the San Francisco Giants, where all power hitters go to die. I hope not, but he signs a 3-year, $42 million deal with the Giants. He has a $9 million signing bonus. And so his salary this season will be $7 million and then $13 million in 2025 and 2026. Soler was a first-time All-Star last season with the Marlins. I didn't realize that was the first time that he was an All-Star, but okay, awesome.
Yeah, because he's had some up and down seasons.
Yeah, so. And like you mentioned, he is very much a one side of the ball kind of guy. He's kind of a liability out there in the outfield, but he played 137 games for the Marlins last season. He batted .250 with 36 home runs, and him batting right behind Luis Arias in the Marlins lineup was obviously a big part of what led to the overall success of their season. He had 75 RBIs and a 128 OPS plus. He DH'd for 102 games and just played 32 games out in right field. Want to give a birthday shout out because he's going to turn 32 this week on February 25th. Happy early birthday, Jorge Soler.
Yay.
This is kind of cool. He's going to donate. I guess this is kind of part of that. The Giants are pulling out a page from Alex Anthopoulos' book. Soler is going to donate $80,000 to the Giants Community Fund this year and $65,000 in each of the 2 following seasons that he has signed with the club. He already has 2 World Series rings with the Cubs in 2016 and with the Braves. Of course, he was a World Series MVP in 2021.
Yeah, I'm fully aware. Mm-hmm,
what do you think about him? Yeah, changing the subject there. What do you think about him with the Giants though? Do you think his numbers his raw power numbers are going to suffer in Oracle Park? I thought it was a weird fit for him.
I hope not. There was that weird stat that apparently there's not been, since Barry Bonds, there's not been a player to hit 30 home runs. I'm all,
ooh, I believe
what?
it.
I was like, that can't be right.
But it is crazy. Then you're like, oh, well, you talk about power hitters, not, it's not the spot for power. And then you're like, oh, well, Barry Bonds. So,
well, but I'm just thinking about, I mean, admittedly, I'm not super familiar with all of the years past of the Giants lineup, but I'm all, did they have any big power hitters? I mean, just in the last couple of years that I was aware of the roster, I would say Jock Peterson was it, and that was
right.
That was it, and then everybody else is just slap the ball around, and it was there was no power, there was really no power hitters. So hopefully Jorge Soler can be that guy for them this season and do the things. Fingers crossed. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just, wish that his power would have died in 2021, because that home run that he hit against the Astros in that World Series game, that ball landed, I think, across like the street, like not on like the first, like the farther, like it was.
Wow.
It's not good, and it hurt my heart. Hurt my heart. Just, oh.
Well, at least he's a little easier for you to root for these days on the other side of the country.
Yeah,
but
far away from us.
I mean, we'll see if the Giants kind of fuck around some more and actually do something. But unfortunately,
sign Cody Bellinger, and I don't know where Cody Bellinger would play, but sign Cody Bellinger and sign Matt Chapman and sign Blake Snell, and then Giants, that you have done some stuff in that.
Yeah, and I do, because I like JorgeSoler, like as a guy, as a player, but I know he's not the kind of signing that they actually need, and it's another one of those almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? If you can't get the top one, he's the consolation prize. That's it.
There you go.
So I feel bad thinking about it that way, because like I said, I like him, but with the way that he fits into their setup right now, that is what it feels like.
Yeah. I don't know what the Giants are doing over there. Who knows?
We're going to have a lot of fun running all this down. We talked today about how in a couple weeks we're going to do the roster rundowns with Tom, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that.
We are.
So we will,
thankfully for you guys,
we don't need to go too far down the rabbit hole now, but it's gonna be good.
Yeah. So thankfully for you guys, though, we are going to split that up into the American League and the National League, so that you guys are not here for 73 hours. So, but moving on to another team that I still don't know what the F they're doing. The Brewers re-sign Brandon Woodruff. Why? Like, I'm very happy that Brandon Woodruff re-signed with the Brewers, but why did they non-tender him to begin with? I guess just to pay him less money than he was going to get. Is that okay?
Yeah, especially this year. Like, I mean, however they're deciding they want to doctor up their numbers to make it work for them. Clearly, they want to avoid paying him the projected like 11 million-ish that it was looking like he would get in arbitration. He has, as we've talked about before, shoulder injury. So he had shoulder surgery that could potentially keep him out for the entirety of the 24 season. Not necessarily, but there was a very broad window. I think give or take 3 full months of when he could come back. So yeah, there's no hard numbers on the deal yet at this moment on Monday evening, February 19th, but obviously we're anticipating that it will include a low base salary for 2024 while he rehabs. Is not really expected to, not likely he'll play at all. And then a higher salary with incentives for 2025. But yeah, that sets the starting rotation for the Brewers up a little bit differently if he can make his way back. He had a 2.28 ERA with 74 strikeouts in 67 innings in his 11 starts that he made last season before the injury. So going into 2024, like Susie said, not really sure. I guess maybe they're just planning ahead at this point but then not because of the other things they've done. Anyway, they got Peralta, Wade Miley, Jacob Junis, Colin Rea. Colin Ray. Yeah. I don't know him. And probably DL Hall, who they just acquired in the Corbin Burns deal, until Woodruff returns. And then maybe he slots in there and kicks out the not so hot hand. But yeah, even with his return, it's not a rotation that's going to, you would assume, contend in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you know what? He's such a good guy. I love listening to interviews with him, and hopefully he just really wanted to be there, and they had some good conversations about what 2025 and beyond could look like.
But maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's the NL Central and they can do just enough to get into the playoffs.
Also, here I am. You're so right. Here I am sitting here saying they're just not even going to contend, and everyone's going to clip this and put it on just a reel. repeating me saying the Brewers are not going to contend in 2024. Yeah, so you're right. I'm just going to take a step back. You never know.
Yeah,
with that NL
we don't. Yeah, you don't. So, and moving on to again another club that we hope does well. Fingers crossed. Maybe JuricksonProfar re-signs with the Padres for 1 year, $1 million. Includes a $1.5 million performance bonus, and he turns 31 tomorrow, February 20th. Happy early birthday, JuricksonProfar. Good job. He joins Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jose Azocar as the only 3 outfielders on the 40-man roster for the Padres. So we got the Marlins that have all of the second basemen, and and the Padres that have, I guess, all of the, I don't even know what they have. All of the infielders.
They have more. Infield? Yeah, they have more guys who could play in the outfield, but they're not like true not outfielders. Major League Baseball outfield, like established outfilders.
Interesting.
So we'll see.
I guess the Padres, here's your outfield of Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jose Azocar. I mean, Fernando can, and his medium pants can just run all over the place and get all of the balls.
Yeah, he's really 2 outfield spots. Maybe they're but I would assume that Profar is not going to start. So, I mean, maybe he might have to at this point. I don't know. Yeah. I guess I shouldn't say that. This is the 2024 Padres, very different from the 2023 Padres.
Yeah, well, we shall see. So, Profar was with the Padres from 2020 to 2022, and he opted out of the final year of his 3-year deal and signed with the Rockies. He hit .236 with a .680 OPS and was released by the Rockies in August of 23, and he rejoined the Padres on a minor league deal and came back up to the big leagues to finish the season, hitting .295, .367, .409 in 49 games. He recently played 21 games in the Dominican Winter League, where he played both left field and first base. So I know that Jurickson was a big glue guy, big vibes guy for the Padres. Like they loved his energy over there. And again, that's not a trait that you can pay for apparently, but good to say. So we shall see what the Padres do. Remember in our 40-man find when I talked about AlekThomas and how he needs to be sheltered from left-handed pitching?
Mm-hmm.
So this next guy is probably who will slot into AlekThomas's spot when there's left-handers on the mound. So outfielder RandalGrichuk signs with the Arizona Diamondbacks for 1 year and $2 million with a mutual option for 2025. Grichuk gets $1.5 million this year with a $6 million option and $500,000 buyout plus performance bonuses. So he is 32 years old, and he spent last season with the Rockies and then the Angels, and he slashed .267, .321, .459 with 16 home runs. He can play all 3 outfield positions and hits lefties very well. So that will be, they were kind of, in not so many words, trying to find someone to platoon with AlekThomas until AlekThomas gets his swing in order against left-handers, and they did this. So they also signed Jock Peterson before.
I have a fun RandalGrichuk story, kind of. I think I have had my friend Sarah, who is a Cardinals fan, on my podcast. I think she told this story a little bit on my podcast. I can't really remember. But anyway, she does the There Is Crying in Baseball podcast. She's a Cardinals fan. She lives in the Phoenix area. And RandalGrichuk was on the Cardinals organization for a number of years. And years ago at that point, I mean, he was probably in his early to mid 20s when he was still with the Cardinals. He actually showed up on her Tinder, and I think it was Tinder. It might have been a different, I'm not sure if Tinder was like the thing yet or whatever, but she has like the screenshots of like his Tinder profile because he was in the Phoenix area for a bachelor party. And so he is returning to the scene of the crime here by signing with the Diamondbacks. And he's got those Phoenix ladies ready and waiting for him again. He's probably married now. I don't know. But
That's so funny. I
she
saw
will
those.
randomly post the screenshots every now and then. And
I saw
just
those screenshots that she posted, and I was like, are these real? Like,
yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I need to, did it go any farther than screenshots? Like, these are the details that we need.
No, she actually, the most ridiculous part of the story is she actually swipe. I don't know which way is good swipe or bad swipe, but she passed on him. I don't know if she was just going through it really fast or whatever, but she accidentally passed on him. And she ended up, I guess there's some feature she looked into it, how can I see him again, somebody that I passed on? And she ended up paying she kind of misunderstood whatever she was signing up for and paid $200 or something to Tinder to be able to get his profile back so she could take the screenshots and just show
hysterical.
And I think hopefully she ended up getting some of it back, because it was definitely a misunderstanding of what she was getting herself into. But yeah, it was a whole thing.
That's hysterical.
The $200 screenshot, man.
I got married. I've been married to my husband for 90 years. So I literally don't know about dating apps. I have no idea. So if you guys, anybody, any listeners, watchers of YouTubes,
if you guys know, to you?
Yeah, let us know. In the comments, drop the comments. Let us know. Which way is the good swiping? Is that swipe right? Is that swipe left? I don't know. And I think it's different on the various apps.
Probably.
I think so. So for the longest time, I didn't know the difference between Tinder and Grindr, and I was like, "There's a difference." And people were like, "Absolutely, Susie." Well, oh, okay. What? And then I was like, "Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, just kidding. Not on the Grindr. Okay, just kidding." So, anyhow, again, that's on the paid content to find out what that is. So
otherwise, you don't need to know what the difference is.
No, it's fine. Yeah. But another move that the Padres did, not so much as far as signing anybody, but XanderBogarts, who the Padres signed just 1 year ago to play shortstop, and they paid him $90 gajillion to play shortstop for 13 years. We'll move to second base. In favor of HaSeongKim. HaSeongKim will play shortstop. And if you will remember in our last 40-man find that I talked about HaSeongKim, you will remember that I said that he was an amazing shortstop. Played very well over there. And I listened to the interview that Xander did about the moving to second base for HaSeongKim, and you could tell it kind of hurt, right? Because
he wasn't he's thrilled.
That's been his spot, and you kind of move off of shortstop once you get old and can't play anymore. That's kind of the deal, right? And I'm not saying that he's not capable of playing shortstop. At this point in time, he and the organization have basically come to the realization that Kim is the better shortstop, the better defensive shortstop over there. So we're still keeping Xander's bat in the lineup. Plugs a hole at second. Like I said, HaSeongKim, great shortstop, and will be a little bit more nimble over there. And didn't Xander have some issues staying on the field as well? I can't remember.
I don't remember. I just recall that there was such. I mean, Boris makes a big stink about a lot of things, but one of the things that he did really make a point of was, insisting that XanderBogarts was going to get a long-term deal that would guarantee him, he was exclusively going to play at shortstop. Yeah. So that was the first thing that I thought of when I heard this, was just yeah. And at the end of the day, it's not up to you, Scott Boras. They signed him to a 13-year deal, and he's going to play and do whatever the hell they want him to do.
Yeah.
And I did think I agree with you, that interview that you sent me, where he spoke on it, you could tell he wasn't yeah, totally, gung-ho, take one for the team. But he did have as good of an attitude as somebody who was I didn't really see this coming necessarily. It's not my ideal scenario, but most importantly, I want to win. and that's why I came here. So if that's what's going to work, then I'd rather. And he said, something about I'd rather do it now than wait and make the adjustment if the organization is just sure that it's the best thing to set us up this year. So he handled it, I think as well as he could, given that
Definitely.
he probably, and who knows how soon he even found out. He probably found out like 15 minutes before he had the media in his face too,
Well, I think they said that he had found out like a couple of days before like they were starting like spring training.
Okay.
And he just that was part of the thing. He said that he wished that the club would have let him know before the off season so that he could practice, take reps at second base. But again, HaSeongKim, there's a mutual option for HaSeongKim next season, which I'm pretty sure HaSeongKim will probably turn down and go to free agency. So if the Padres don't end up re-signing him, Xander will slot back over to short.
Yeah, or he can at least,
Yeah. So, there was big time fighting on my timeline with like Padres fans with like the Xander stands and the HaSeongKim, and I'm all, oh, all right. Like I didn't realize that people were gonna have very, very strong feelings about this. But then again, there's very strong feelings over Ryan Presley and Josh Hader. So I see how, the camps would be divided. So, but again, if it's better for the club and if it's going to help the club win, everyone swallows a little bit of pride and goes on about their day. So, Kansas City Royals. I can't wait until we get into the actual like roster breakdowns, because I need to see how many moves that Kansas City Royals actually made this offseason, because they made a ton and they just made another one. They acquired right-handed reliever John Schreiber from the Red Sox for minor league right-hander David Sandlin. Now, we said that the Royals have made some really good moves in the offseason. They may actually be sneaky good next year.
We're like sneaky maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. And we do. So I was reading up on the minor leaguer David Sandlin, and apparently Royals fans were all up in arms about it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, here the Royals are trying to be good now.
Right.
Red Sox are trying to be good later. Maybe.
Yeah.
So essentially that's
Royals
what
fans, it was. With whatever the hell the Red Sox are doing, like, it's fine. Just sit back and relax, because you could probably have Sandlin back in your system by the time that he's going to be in the big leagues. If you play your cards right with the Red Sox, like, who knows what they're doing. So I think this makes sense for 2024, obviously.
Yeah. Schreiber is a 5-year league veteran and still has 3 years of team control, including this year, and has a career 3.58 ERA with the Tigers and Red Sox. And Sandlin was the Royals' 11th round pick in the 2022 draft out of Oklahoma, who has 90 strikeouts in 68 2/3 innings in the minors. So some decent numbers over there. And again, like I said, KC has been making some sneaky offseason moves, and can't wait to break it all down with y'all. We talked about the Baltimore Orioles, and when they acquired Corbin Burns, I was like, okay, that's it. Orioles are now officially scary, except for Craig Kimbrell in the back end. But that's okay. That's okay, because up to that point, they were very scary, right? Because sneaky Kyle Bradish was like a really, really good pitcher, and everyone's like, who the fuck is Kyle Bradish? And he goes to the IL. It's like, I read that on Twitter. I'm all, oh, that doesn't sound good.
It was like the first deep cut of the offseason, kind of across the board. But yeah, he had the best second half ERA in the American League among starters, with 2.34 ERA in the second half of the season in 2023. He was obviously a huge part of, could have been a bigger part had they made a deeper postseason run, but he was part of why you thought they were set up for success and would be again this year. He has a tear in his UCL, which is, that's kind of like the flow chart is if tear in UCL, then Tommy John. But I guess, I don't know if it's because of his age or, I don't know what it looks like in terms of the details of the tear. Did you see anything about that?
No, but I guess depending on like what grade of the tear it is,
Okay.
you can play through it. It's not gonna feel great, but apparently you can play through it, and hopefully it just gets better with time. Unfortunately, that's kind of what Lance McCullers tried to do
Oh, yeah.
last season, and then when they got in there, it was a worse tear than they thought. Like, it was a worse grade than they thought, and was basically, like, shredded off the bone or something.
Ugh.
So I I don't at this point in time, I don't know why they just are having him try and play through it. Like, you need
Yeah.
to go get that, like, looked at.
I would assume that it
And
would make the most sense or just be the safest option for him longevity-wise to just get it taken
yeah,
care of and have the surgery, but yeah, he's had a PRP, which is a platelet-rich plasma shot, which is very much to help with, like, healing, which makes sense, like, from what you're saying, but his plan is to continue throwing and try to pitch through it, which I'm just like, if you got the PRP shot and you were gonna rest, then, like,
maybe.
maybe, but yeah, I'm not feeling super optimistic about this for him, and it'll be interesting to see how quickly kind of maybe a different course of action comes out for him.
Yeah, and I don't know if maybe the Orioles front office or the Orioles organization is thinking like, "Okay, now we go." And that's why they're trying to have
Yeah.
him not, like, go and, have a surgery. Um, I don't know. I'm like, "You got Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell right there, like, sign one of
Well,
those,
and maybe
get
that's part
Kyle
of it too is
Bradish."
they don't wanna lose leverage in free agent negotiations. So they don't wanna be like, "Oh, yeah, we're screwed. We definitely don't have this guy." Maybe they're trying to sign someone or negotiate something before they
Sending
fully
him
just
to the
say,
okay.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
guess
all part of the game.
I I don't know. That sucks for like Orioles fans. It sucks for Kyle Bradish. Like I was really looking forward to watching a really good Orioles team with like a actual rotation that could do things.
Yeah.
And Kyle Bradish not being part of that is going, at least for the foreseeable beginning of the season, is going to kind of suck. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see
We shall see.
if they make there's any additional movement there
Yeah.
because it's hard to see how they would fill in that spot with anything that would be long term, but just kind of depends on how people shape up in spring too. At least it's that time of year to
Yeah.
find your guy.
And it's not like they don't have a super awesome farm system that they can trade from.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Dylan Cease, I guess, come on over.
Maybe now's the time. Finally.
Right. Finally. I don't know. This last note that we're going to talk about, Kels, just confuses me.
Me too.
Like, why did you have to announce it now?
Why are we talking about what Rob Manfred is going to be doing in 2029? Like, I don't know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow. I definitely don't need to know what Rob Manfred is doing in 2029, let alone anyone else. And yeah, there's still another CBA next year that like he's going to be a part of negotiating. It's 2029 is so long from now. It feels like so long. I have no idea. And I'm so glad that was your thought too, because that's the one thing that I feel like I haven't heard anybody say, like, why are we talking about this now? And that is literally my main reaction.
Yeah, I don't is he trying to like ferret out the people that are trying to get a like I don't
have no
understand.
clue. I have
I mean,
no idea.
is
I mean,
it
he's
like
just like, get off my back. Like, I'll be out of here before you know it. I don't know.
listen, Rob Manfred, if you would like the MLB public's like love and admiration and fucking blackouts, don't tell me that you're leaving the game in 2029. I don't
Right.
give a fuck. End blackouts. It's that meme like, what do you guys want? End blackouts. And then Rob Manfred's like, I'm leaving in 2029 instead.
Yeah. 5
Don't
years
give
from
a
now,
fuck.
I'll be out of your
Yeah.
hair. Yeah, no, I really have no clue. And here's the thing, like, I know we all, I kind of, I'm not a huge advocate for like the fact that we as fans always seem to hate the commissioner, right? It's the same with the NFL. It's the same with all of these kind of situations where the commissioner is just someone that we kind of all gather together and commiserate around hating him. The fact of the matter is that like that is a position where he literally is not going to please everyone ever. And so it's not a job that I think a lot of people, regardless of the amount of money, would really be happy to take. And maybe that's why he's just like, fine, get me out of here as soon as possible. But I'm not really of the camp of like, fuck you, Rob Manfred. Obviously, I think, yes, there's some things that he certainly could prioritize. I think the conversation that we were having in our bonus episode with Brian was right on the money in terms of like some of the things that he says just are like, did we not think about this and how that comes off, and like how you seem like you're literally not a fan of the game, and that's like such a bad look for baseball and for your position. So I'm certainly not like a Rob Manfred, like rah, give him the chance, guys. But he has done some good things for the game overall. He's made some really big changes. He's lowered the average age. I mean, he not all alone, but he has done a lot of what he has set out to do in terms of lowering the average age of fans. And there's still so much that he could do. So I think, yeah, it annoys me most that it seems like he's almost like, it's like a cop out. Like, well, just want to let you know, I'll do what I can while I'm still here, but I'm going to be gone soon enough. What?
Yeah. It's so confusing. Like, what do you guys want? Ending blackouts.
Wanted to make this about you, Rob? I don't know.
Apparently, I don't know. It's very confusing. It's very, very confusing. But I said that we were going to end on this, but we're not. We have to talk about another guy who apparently hates baseball. Third baseman for the Angels, AnthonyRendon.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Guy.
Okay,
just, like,
so
take money and run, dude. He is literally like every time he speaks, he is just shoveling his grave. Like, what is he doing?
Okay, so before we get into it, let me get the actual conversation. So for the people who are not aware of what we're talking about, Sam Blum, who is the athletics writer for the Angels writer for the Athletic, apparently had a conversation with AnthonyRendon today, and this is what was said. Come back here. Where are you?
This is also, just to preface it, this is coming off an interview he did on the Jack Vita show like about a month ago, where he was asked like what he would change about the game currently, and was just going on about how they need to shorten the season. This is a man who is on a 7-year, $245 million contract. He's the highest paid player on the Angels, I believe, and outside of Mike Trout, and should be nowhere near Mike Trout, but he is very close to making the same amount of money as Mike Trout. And he has played 148 total games over the last 3 seasons. But here he is saying, like, if I could change anything about the game, just need to shorten the season, man. And so he'd already said that. And then he said this.
So, like I said, this is the interview that Sam Blum did with AnthonyRendon. So Sam Blum asks, last year you said you'd consider retiring. What's your mindset now? Rendon's answer: my enthusiasm has been the same since I got drafted. To be honest with you, I was actually deleting old emails because my storage to my maximum in my email. So I'm going back and deleting old emails. I emailed myself a pros and cons of why I wanted to stay in the game. This was in 2014. My thought process of the game has not changed since then. I keep making it this long. Sam Blum asks, how does your pro and con list compare to 10 years ago? Rendon: it's a lot different. I'm married. I have 4 kids. My priorities have changed since I was in my early 20s. So definitely my perspective on baseball has been more skewed. Blum asks, is this still a top priority for you? Rendon answers, it's never been a top priority for me. This is a job. I do this to make a living. My faith, my family come first before this job. So if those things come before it, I'm leaving. Blum asks, is it a priority? Oh, it's a priority for sure, Rendon answered, but because it's my job. I'm here, aren't I? Sam Blum: do you want to be here? Rendon, I don't want to talk to you guys at 7 a.m. or whatever time it is. Blum answers or asks, do you want to be here playing baseball for the Angels? He goes, I've answered your question, so why do you keep picking at it? Now, to be fair, again, I feel like Rendon saying these things and say like Freddie Freeman saying these things come across very differently, even if they were said, even if the words were said exactly the same.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to fault the guy for saying that this is a job because I not saying that I hate my job, but it's a job. It is a job.
Exactly. Totally. And we all can relate to that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I do think it's like very off color to say that it's not a priority, like that language around it, which is why Sam Blum again was like, so is it a priority? Like your livelihood, maybe a priority. And the most fucking annoying thing about listening to you read that is like, that's spoken like somebody who has $245 million in his back fucking pocket. Like, God, how out of touch with reality do you have to be to say something like that?
Yeah. It makes me even like, I guess I can see both sides of the coin. 'Cause on one hand, I know that there are guys out there that are busting down the door that are like, please just give me a fucking chance. Like I will be there. I will play 100%. Just give me a chance, And then on the other hand, again, it is a job. It is, and unfortunately, Anthony Rendon is just really good at playing baseball. And I feel like since we, and I say this as a collective we, if you're listening to this, you're listening to a baseball podcast, so you obviously are obsessed with the game like we are. But we kind of wish that, oh my God, like I wish that I could do something involved in baseball and get paid for it,
Absolutely.
So the fact that he has this gift, because, being a high leverage athlete is a gift. And he's just really good at playing baseball, but maybe he doesn't love baseball like we all love baseball. And in my head, that blows my mind because I feel like if you're doing this, like you should also love the game. But I've seen other interviews where guys are like, I don't really know. I don't really watch baseball. Not outside of this. Like it's just this,
Yeah. I mean, there are always people in highly coveted professions, like even in the entertainment industry, who you will hear, say similar enough things and like it just came easy enough to them, or kind of, the opportunity fell into their lap. And for whatever reason, they are out of touch or like unaware that it's just not like that can be your truth. That's fine.
Yeah.
But for you to come out publicly and say that, it really is just like such a slap in the face to every single guy who's like feeling super lucky to have another chance to make $34,000 in the minor leagues this year, to get another shot, like, come on.
Yeah. So I don't know. There was the video that came out with like Anthony Rendon and like Wash doing infield drills before position players were supposed to report. So maybe that's a good sign. I don't know. Wash was on foul territory a couple weeks ago saying, like if you're not willing to play hard, like you're off my team. I love that for Wash. I love that. I don't necessarily know if Artie Moreno will allow that to happen.
Sure.
It's not like you're cutting, the third string kid off the team. Like you're cutting a lot of money.
Right.
But maybe Wash will help whip him into shape. I don't know. But then again, like I would think that Mike Trout would say something to him, or
yeah, I mean, that comes again. There's so much conversation about, Mike Trout, like not being the guy to go to the organization and say that he wants to be traded, or say like enough is enough. And that's just not his style. And it reminds me also of like, there's a lot of conversation around the Cardinals organization of this happening right now, because there's a lot of things in the press that have come out about Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, like not being like vocal leaders in the clubhouse. And that's why we need to bring back Matt Carpenter and all that stuff that we've talked about. And it all comes back to the end of the day of like, that is where we draw the line at, like, this is a job. They were hired to do something, and that thing is to perform at an elite level. as a third baseman, as a first baseman, as a position that they were hired to play and to play baseball. And so then, and on that side of it, I don't agree with the people who are saying, like, if you're making, $30 million a year, Nolan Arenado or AnthonyRendon, then like you should be, or Mike Trout, even, like, you should be that vocal guy and that leader in the clubhouse too. It's like, no, that's not what they were hired to do. And they can be who they are, as people. Right. And I think that's important for them to succeed on the field with what they were hired and are paid to do. So in that sense, that's a good example of how it is a job and we need to keep that perspective as fans for them. But with AnthonyRendon saying and playing like the family and faith card, it's like, nah, bro, we all got that. That's not that, we're not disagreeing with that. By no means are we discounting what should be important to everyone and what we all, could be on the same page for. We're not asking you to sacrifice, your health even or your family and your personal integrity for this. We just would like to see that you like want to show up and earn the money that thing is that he's already getting one way or another. Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. AnthonyRendon, I guess 2024 will be your maybe bounce back year. Let's hope.
And maybe just like keep your mouth shut until then. Like, I hate saying that, but geez.
Yeah. Stop talking to the press. Although I don't think they can. I don't think he can stop talking to the press though, because I want to say that's like part of their deal is he's got it.
Well, and it should be as one of the highest paid players on that roster and an organization that is, a lot of people are really interested to see what they're gonna pivot to next. After, Shohei is gone, they have committed to keeping Mike Trout around. It should be somebody that we're excited to hear about, but after that, I'm just like,
yeah. Well, and a part of me is like, okay, so I get tired of hearing the players give the canned answers of, I'm just
absolutely
really excited to be here and I'm just so blessed to be part of the team and I'm just in the best shape of my life and yada yada yada, all of the canned answers. So on the one hand, I'm like, bro, love the honesty.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm all, sir, you said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
Like, did you think about that before you said it? Like,
well, you also just said it perfectly when you said like Freddie Freeman could say something along the same lines. The thing is, he would like the verbiage, the nuance of how it was said would have been just different enough had it come from someone like that we all would appreciate it and be totally respectful and be like, yeah, that is a really important perspective for these players to have at the end of the day. So yeah, it's a fine line there.
It is. And I don't know. And I kind of feel bad for AnthonyRendon. I mean, I shouldn't because he's a bajillionaire and playing a kid's game as his livelihood.
Yeah.
Again, but it's a job for him and, like, but if you don't want to do your job, bro, like step aside and give somebody else a chance. Like, I just feel bad. I feel bad for the entire like situation because I can see it from both sides. But
yeah. It's just not a good look the way that he went about it.
Get yourself a publicist.
Yeah.
AnthonyRendon. Get yourself like a PR person and have them stand next to you like a translator. Have them stand next to you and then you whisper what you
here's what I'm thinking
actually want to say. And then they will say it politely and in a more palatable manner. It's like the
I had
have you seen like the TikToks that are like how do you say fuck you, you're dumb in professional manner or whatever, and it's like
I had a friend
my last email.
Yeah, I had a friend who said who said that he was using AI to write emails for him to sound nice. So basically he would put like the bullet points in, this is what I'm trying to get across, put this into an email that makes me sound like friendly and palatable to whoever is going to consume it. And that to me is crazy, but when you think about it that way, like it is a skill. It is a skill set that is of great value that is now, I guess we think AI can do it just as well. Yeah. But to my point of like letting players be who they are And I do like the point that you make a lot about appreciating him not just giving the canned answers and showing some personality and whatever. But yeah, that's a really good idea. He needs to just kind of like work through it with someone who can say like, I totally get where you're coming from. Here's how that's going to be overanalyzed and broken down and just initially perceived. Like, here's why maybe we say it this way instead.
Yeah. Yeah. He needs a PR translator.
Yeah.
That's what he needs. That's because I've done that AI email writing thing. Because I'm like, I've already the directions are fucking in front of you. You're a dumbass. Read the fucking directions. And I've put it into AI, and they've given me very nice words to say. Way too many of them, but very nice words to say. And so then I'll just like cut and paste, and I'm all, here you go. It has been done. It has been done. And that's how people know that emails are not written by me, because mine are short and to the point.
Maybe I feel like I could do this job for AnthonyRendon. So again, it would be a job for me. It would, Anthony. But if you are looking for a PR translator, I think I could do it. And I could take some of that 245 mil off your hands and help you, just come off better to the fans. Not that seems like it's something you're concerned with, but Susie does propose a very interesting idea, and I'm available for the right price.
Yeah. Just saying, like, we're just gonna put that out there for you, AnthonyRendon. Well, look, we are just trying to help you. That's, from the goodness of our hearts and our pocketbooks. So with that is going to be our last topic of the evening. With that, we will wrap up, and I will say that we are still hanging tough on all of the Apple podcast charts that we have been. Great Britain, welcome to the chat. Spain, Japan, Korea. Again, I don't know where you guys are finding the podcast, but thank goodness you are, because it fills my heart with joy when that Chartable email, I get that, and I open it up. I open it like a book. I open it up, and I'm so excited because I see these countries listed, and it fills my cold, dead heart with warmth for just like an iota of a second, and it just makes me so happy. And then I screenshot it and I send it to Kels, and she also gets very happy, but probably happier as well because she doesn't have a cold, dead heart. But keep listening. Keep telling all your friends. We appreciate that. US, I don't know where the fuck y'all are, because we were there for like a second and then we fell off again. So I need you guys to, I don't know.
They forgot to hit that subscribe.
Yeah.
Hit it right now.
Yes. So for the YouTubes, subscribe. Thank you. We finally got over 200. We have 202 subscribers. We very much appreciate that. Again, because a couple of episodes back, I was telling Kelsey about how I was so very sad that I missed the 169 mark of the subscribers.
So now
we're at 202. Yeah. So now there's our goal, to get to 269 subscribers, because I am 12 years old.
For you.
But again, we appreciate everyone that has come along for the ride with us. If you haven't already, please go and give us 5 stars. Say all of the nice words and give us a good review, because we would love that. If you are in the United States, I don't know where y'all went, because we were there for a second, but we would really appreciate it if we got back on United States charts. I don't want to seem greedy, however, because Spain and Great Britain and Korea and Japan, you are holding it down for us, and I sorely, dearly appreciate all of y'all. Okay, but I need the United States just on board. Just come on with me, guys. So with that, we will say, we're not going to say goodnight because Kelsey needs to tell us where we can find her on the socials.
Oh, well, you should find me on Twitter at KBirdTweets. That's BURD, KBURD tweets. It's on your screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. If you find me there on Twitter, you can find my link tree, and that's going to take you to everywhere that you can listen to my podcast, Peace, Love, and Baseball, that comes out with a new episode every Tuesday. If you want to find me on YouTube, just look up K-Bird Tweets. Episodes Peace, Love, and Baseball are there as well. And yeah, you'll find me there weekly and right alongside Susie over here. Here.
We don't know where
I'm looking away from you on the screen, but I did it.
So with that, we will say good night and goodbye. And again, we really appreciate all of y'all for hanging out with us. With that, we're going to hit and record. Yay, baseball! Woo!